The service side of rmAppSuite Pro pulls together the tools you need to efficiently tackle service issues, all wrapped up in a clean, easy-to-use package. rmAppSuite Pro also makes it easy to communicate with key contacts associated with the maintenance work, and it can even help us find the location of the issue on a map. Let's take a look at the main service screen first, and then we'll dive into the full details of a single service issue. So let's start by choosing Service from the list of available features. By default, the service screen will show issues that are assigned to you. Use the search bar at the top to filter the issues by specific keywords. Oh, but we can take that filtering even further. By tapping this filter icon, you bring up a list of filter fields. You can filter issues down to who they've been assigned to, assuming, of course, you have permission in Rent Manager to see issues assigned to other users through the app. And as you can see, there are other filter options available. You can even select multiple filters per field. For instance, I want to find all the maintenance issues tagged as high or emergency priority at the following properties: Riverview Apartments, as well as Buckeye Hall. And specifically, I want the issues that are either unresolved or in progress. Now, I could either apply this as a temporary one-time filter, or I could give this filter a name and tap Save and Apply, so I could reuse this filter in the future. So let's do that. As you can see, our filter name is now at the top, indicating that it's been applied. If you tap the filter icon again, and then tap this drop-down at the top, you'll see that your filter is now available for selection because you saved it. To clear a filter, all you do is tap the X next to the applied filter at the top of the screen. Notice here that our list is currently sorted by issue ID. If you tap this icon in the upper right, you can choose additional sorting options to change the order of your list. There's also different tile viewing sizes, depending on how much information you need at a glance. You're currently looking at the large view, which gives you the most information in a tile from the service issue. This view even displays communication icons to quickly text, email, or call your tenant. At the bottom left of each tile, there are icons that will let you check in or check out of an issue. And you can even tap this icon to pull up the address on your device's default map app. To change the view size, tap this icon up in the top right corner of the screen. You have the option of a medium view, which condenses the tiles and removes the icons from the bottom. But don't worry, you can still access these icons by swiping either left or right on the service issue. Switching to the small view, it condenses each tile even further, limiting the information that displays. And you can still swipe these tiles just like in the medium view. One more thing I want to point out is the color swatch in the corner of these tiles. So each issue has a priority field, and this color is based on the custom color you assign to that priority level in Rent Manager. So if you've never added custom colors to your priorities, these color swatches will all be black by default. There's also a map view, which will pinpoint the service issues on a map in relation to your location. This may help you plan out the order you tackle some of these issues based on where you are and where you're headed, and depending on their priority. Now let's examine the anatomy of a specific service issue. So let's tap on one. When you first enter the service issue page, you will notice these actions at the top. So when you're working on an issue, you'll want to tap here to check in, which will record the time spent on this particular issue. We'll get into the other actions in this ribbon as we progress. The top section consists of key details that you probably won't need to edit while working on the issue, but if you did for some reason, you still can by tapping on the Edit button at the top. Below those details is a ribbon consisting of your communication icons for this issue. So from here, you can pull up the associated tenant's contact page, get directions to the address using your default map app, and you can text, email, or call your tenant if needed. Next, we have the description, where we described the issue in more detail, as well as a resolution box to explain what was done to take care of this maintenance problem. Toward the bottom of the screen, you have an area for additional lists and information. The History Notes section allows you to view and even add notes to the service issue. This note can include a date and a timestamp, a category, and whatever comment you want to make. You can also attach a photo to the note, and it'll all be processed right here in the app. You may have a checklist of tasks that need to be completed. So checklists can be managed right here through rmAppSuite Pro. Issue links can be added to associate this maintenance work to particular properties, units, tenants, prospects, owners, or whatever, all for record-keeping purposes. Linking a tenant is also what allows you to text, email, or call that tenant from this issue screen using the app. So links are very important. You can track information related to issue-level user-defined fields, so that can be set up. Parts and labor. This is an important section that corresponds to the work order for the service issue. This is where you can add or edit the details of any billable items or charges that are going to be associated with this maintenance. You can also see a current total of the charges here. Now, if there are several items in any of these lists, and not everything is automatically showing up, you can select this icon for a full screen view of that particular list. So any list that can be added to from the app has this add icon next to it. You may have noticed this larger add button that stays in the bottom right corner of the screen no matter where you are on the page. Let's say you needed to add parts or labor to a service issue. Instead of entering the issue and then scrolling all the way to the bottom, you can just tap this add button as soon as you enter to quickly add this or any other addable field. If you've made any changes to the service issue, you just need to make sure you tap Submit to save and apply them. And finally, there's a section here where you can have the tenant sign off on the work, if that's going to be a requirement for your business. So that's a basic rundown of the service issue list and the anatomy of a specific service issue. In the next module, we'll actually walk through the process of creating a service issue, checking in and checking out, and finally resolving and closing the issue once and for all.